This is Justin on Thursday, November 17th, 2022. Looking at SPX on the 3-minute, zoomed way out because I need to draw this again. So I drew this in the video yesterday as a really large head and shoulders. Did not have any idea we're going to gap down this far. And then we got the retest and rollover. We did retest again, so we'll see what's going on here. But I was saying this is the decision point. What happens here is going to tell us the next step of this, the next phase of this. So it's actually a little surprised to see this much of a rally come in. But I think part of that is, well, let me finish this thought. So we put in a really large head and shoulders. It's easier to see this like on an hourly as just a regular one, but really kind of a flatter right shoulder. And we did something very similar on the 3 minutes. We'll go down into the 3-minute just for today. And so here's the gap, massive gap down. And then I'll draw again. And you got another head and shoulders right here, like that. That's one. And you can see this is a retest and then a rollover. And then a rollover. So that's one way to draw it, or you can kind of, I mean, this is the higher peak. So the only real other way to draw this would maybe be like here, and then here, and then like count all of that as a shoulder. Or not, sorry, not all of that. This, and then this is the shoulder. And then we didn't really get a clean retest of this level. I mean, we got a little bit here, but this makes more sense that it's like, okay, we didn't even get back up there. We just rolled like that. So that there's a couple different ways to draw this. You can also say that, you know, even just this, all of this being the head, and then here's another flatter shoulder, and then we break down, and so your neckline's way down here, but that's where this does not make sense as a bigger retest. So like the first one, where it's really compacted up in here like that, I prefer that one, obviously, saying, well, that's clearly a head and shoulder. I think that is. And then you have a retest with an inverted hammer and then a rollover. And here's a 10 EMA going bearish. Yeah, there was a 10 EMA going bullish here. There was more going bullish here. This was really a nice consolidation and then a really massive move back up. There were some bear ones going. So here's bullish candle below the 10. Nope, that's bear candles. You got bull candle below the 10, and then that rolled down with evening star reversal. There's some really nice hammers, like nice lower wicks all through here. And then we got above all that. It's like, okay, what is going on here? This just broke out. Oh, it's a trap. You know. So that was going on. But the real location we were making that decision was right through here. How are we going to play that? Or how is this going to move? And it was a little bit below that level. I did say if we go back, so one reason we bounced from this low is we were sitting right on the 100. The 100 is at 39.08 and 87 cents, and the low was 39.06.54. So really, really good, crazy place to just gap down. Did not anticipate that was going to be this location. Saw that on the daily. It's like, oh, we're supposed to trade through here. Like you know, this would have been so much cleaner or so much easier for so many traders had we just, you know, maybe gapped down a little and then retested and then gone down to the 100 and then back up and then rolled back down again. Like, give us that. Now it's kind of like, oh, we gapped right into the 100. Maybe there's going to be some strength coming in, and this may not be it, because right here is now a second retest. So here's the first one. Let's do this again. So with this head and shoulders, okay, here's your neckline, here's your first retest, here's your second retest of that same level. So that's where we closed today. We closed right back into this decision area. And I think we're still going to roll back down just because of the bearishness in this, but we might not. All right, so here is the 39.50 call. When this was doing the kind of that second dip. Let me go back to through that. So this is like doing a double bottom thing through here. There's some really nice hammers through here, and you didn't get the 10 EMA setups till over here. But this was really flat with this option. All during this time, the option was really, really going just flat. So this was going really sideways and give you some really great opportunities to buy really low. Even just bracketing this where you're getting in at getting in at 2 and a stop down at 1 would have been a great setup. And then all of a sudden it launched out of here and ran right into the previous highs. So you could have flipped this out at easily 5, so buy at 2, flip it out at 5, almost in that single candle. Actually, if it got this high in that single candle and you had your target at 5, at this point, it's like, oh, if you're watching it, move that target up. That's something you can do in a couple ways. You can just move it out another R or 2. Obviously, hindsight, but I mean, if it moved this quickly, in a single candle, see if you can at least take out the high. So that'd be moving it to 6 or even 7. Or what I've done in the past, and I was not in this one today, is just double it. So instead of 2 to 5, that's 3R. Go out another 3R, and that'd be 8. And then you almost hit 8 here, and you had to hold through a bigger pullback, but then it didn't end up getting to 8. And at this point, I don't know that you would have been able to rack that quickly to move that out any further. But I like doubling the R because when it does something like this, usually it has some more momentum in it. So again, looking at the head and shoulder shape, you have a bigger move here. It's playing out like a much larger head and shoulders, but you can still see this playing out, and then here's the neckline, and here's the retest here. And then obviously with the 39.50 call, you don't get the bigger rally into the close because the market makers aren't going to give that value back in. It's just going to, it's not going to restore that value into the option. So anyway, but these are some of the signals to say, okay, something's going on here. We put in a bunch of bull candles below the 10. This one technically a little bit above, and then an inverted hammer there. It's like these are things saying this is like a 10 EMA setup bearish. And then here, sorry, it's not a 10. That's not a inverted hammer again. It's more of a high wave candle. But it's like, okay, at least go look at what the put's doing. So here's the 39.25 put, and I'm just showing this one because you've got that bigger move and then this retracement, but then it just goes super flat. But let's go and zoom in on this and ignore the higher level, the higher value of these. And I'm going to zoom into this portion. And you do have similar, looks like chop, but you have this, and then it moves a little bit up, takes out the low, which this is now the right shoulder, but it takes out a low because it's the put option, and it's got Greeks telling it, more time has gone by, don't make a higher low, it's making a lower low. It's just how the Greeks make this work. But this is actually a really clean neckline in here. And so you can play off of this potentially. And this would have been a great place to be buying at 250, buying at 2. Ideally, you'd have your stop below this low around 1. So 2 by 1 would have been the right setup. Just going off of $100 risk here. So here's your risk. Either, as this shoulder is coming back in to make it, I don't know that you would have been filled here, but had you left the order open for a little bit longer, you would have been filled over in here, and then that really ran right back up to the last pivot there. And then you're in on that reversal. The other way to do this is with a different option, but then your range is not going to be this clean where you can get in at 2 and stop at 1. And then obviously that's just plummeted in value the rest of the day. So I thought this was going to keep moving. I thought this was just going to keep on going, and it did not. And even at this point, when it's doing this and chopping, like having this over here fill with that option when the neckline was way back up here, there was enough time left in the day that this could roll over and take out the lows. But the only thing going on here that we actually bounced off, like the 100s further down, is like this area. So we technically put in like a double bottom right on that pivot. So not sure what is so special about 39.25 that we actually bounced off of it and went back up. Other than the bigger picture of this, the bigger perspective that we did some sort of like a double bottom here, and then we've got a longer retest, but I feel like that's more of a stretch. So anyway, don't know why, but that's where we bounced. And I don't have any lines in that area. We ran from basically the 100 back up to the let's see, this is the 5 exponential. I was thinking this was a different exponential. So from the 5 or from the 100 to the 5 ENA. Yeah, I don't know why we bounce like that. But anyway, I was anticipating a roll over there, and we'll see what happens. We're right back at the decision point. So, but I had drawn in 3 different things that we could actually make a move with the move down, retrace into this level and roll back down. And so that was number 3 option in yesterday's video. The move back up and down and up didn't work. We're out of this channel, at least for now. I think we're going to stay. This is what's tough too. I thought the other thing is we made a breakout here, but this is a bigger breakout here. So like, even if we say this is like a channel, even back through here, I think we went further down today than we went out and up above there. So it makes sense to me that we actually stay below this. So if we do get another roll, instead of a gap down, if we get a roll down, look for it to trap some bulls here and then roll back down. And into a Friday, like we could take out the 100, which should be sitting right around here. We could get right back into these lines. It's entirely possible. So we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. All right. Hope this helps. This is Justin. Thanks.